So, for today's show, I have a very interesting guest. I'm here with Darrell Evans from YokelLocal. And basically, YokelLocal is an inbound marketing agency, not to say also a HubSpot partner that helps companies to generate revenue, reduce sales cycles, and increase customer lifetime value using inbound marketing. And obviously, inbound marketing is it has been interesting and is getting more and more interesting for a lot of folks out there. So they have a very specific system. We might be touching on that today, a six-step system that they're working with. And I don't want to take too much away. Darrell is the co-founder, and basically, could consider him a digital growth strategist for the team at the YokelLocal. So, Darrell, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, so maybe give us an overview in your own words. What would you say is the company all about?
Yeah, I appreciate it. The company really, at its essence, we're an inbound marketing agency, and for your listeners who are involved with digital technology and growth, that's really what we are. We are a growth team that, and I think our specialty is in bringing a good amount of subject matter experts under the big umbrella of all of what a typical entrepreneur or CEO, founder, or even a head of marketing has to deal with in the digital growth space. But in short, companies hire us to help them grow revenue, and we take care of all of the strategy and the tactics. We're typically operating more like a partner than a vendor, in a sense that the company's really ready to take growth to the next level.
I see. That's very succinct. So, what would you say? Who are the typical companies that you guys are working with?
Yeah, funny enough, you can see in the name YokelLocal. Local was originally our foundation. We started our business in the middle of the recession, which was a decade or so ago, 2008, 2009, 2010, when the real estate and lending collapse affected many, many businesses. And so, having grown up in a local business environment, I'd owned a few companies prior. We started there. And what we did was we then sort of perfected our system at the local level and started moving upstream. So today, while we do still have a niche and a division for our local companies, we are mostly focused today on mid-market companies that have gotten to that $2-3 million mark. They've gotten past stability. They are professional service companies, software as a service, a little bit of e-commerce, and B2B, manufacturing, service, consulting, things of that nature. And what's happened is they've usually been around for a while. They've been, 10, 15, 20-year-old. One of our clients is 43 years old company, and they are now stuck in transition, right? And of course, today we're recording this during hopefully the tail end of the pandemic. And the transition to digital is now forward facing like never before for many of those companies. So they're looking for the next level of growth, and they know that what got them here won't get them to the next level.
Makes sense. So when we're looking at that spectrum of clients that you mentioned, like what would be a typical journey that somebody would, learn about YokelLocal and getting started?
As an inbound agency, we obviously eat our own cooking. So we have lots of inbound leads that come in through our website. And of course, as anyone who's familiar with SEO and content marketing, inbound, if you will, understands that all of those leads are not going to be ready to buy today, which is a lesson I learned in my early 20s when I first started my first business. We're in a long-term sales cycle in some cases with our clients. And so our inbound leads sometimes will just be there to get a resource, a piece of information, whether it's on the blog, whether it's through a landing page, whether it's a white paper, a video series, one of our online marketing courses, maybe they want to come to a seminar. So we do have our fair share of inbound leads. But if I have to, our highest quality leads come through speaking, podcasts, and obviously networking. I mean, we do quite a bit of, we try to do quite a bit of thought leadership in the marketplace where we are based and in the United States, and we're growing that. My business partner wrote a book here about a year ago or so. It published, I think, last summer. It's called The World's Best Buyer Persona and System. Sorry, The World's Best Buyer Persona System. And it was and so he's been speaking on that topic for quite a while. So those are primary channels for us.
Super interesting. Obviously, the website seems to be crucial for you guys, but could you describe to the listeners a little bit what the role of your website, actually takes in your, strategic setup?
Yeah, great question. And I think this is a question not just for us, but it's almost the same answer for every one of the clients that come to us. I'll just give a perfect example. We're working with an IoT company in the Internet of Things space. They've created a device that is that they've engineered. It's going to market. We're going to be helping them bring it to market in VC. They're going to get VC funding and that kind of thing. What's interesting though is the website for us becomes a 24-hour sales consultant. That's the way we look at it. I've been doing this since I've been online in 2002. Back then I was in the mortgage industry and I owned a mortgage company. And what I realized was I was answering the same 30 to 50 questions for a high quality prospective customer. And at some point I said, there's just got to be a better way to delineate this information. And so that was the launch of my first website in around 2003, 2004. And then I, of course, used email to nurture those leads until they were ready to buy. I couldn't make someone buy a house or get a mortgage financing. And if they weren't ready to move for 10 months, well, I just need to figure out how to stay there. But as with any transaction, people, you like to think people do business with people they know, like, and trust. And I'm not sure all three of those have to happen, but two of those three are probably really relevant. So we like to position clients' websites as well as ours as a helpful resource. That's it. It's a helpful resource. And maybe we can't answer every question through the website, but we're hoping to provide value. We're hoping to give this person, this individual, this company, this executive, an opportunity to say, I think they know what they're talking about, and I'd like to have a chat with them about them helping me.
Very good. What would you say, in your perspective, is a major strength of the website at the moment? Is it, the ability to convert? Is it the quality of the leads? You mentioned already, obviously speaking brings high quality leads as well. Is it the user experience? Where do you see a strength of the website?
Yeah, it's interesting. We're in digital, so I'm always the most critical person about our company's website. And so coming off of 2020 and just going over all of our numbers, I would say that one of the runaway freight train problems with the website growing is you get traffic from everywhere. We're based in the United States. We primarily take customers in the United States, Canada, UK, and Australia, primarily. But we've got, I don't know how many countries visiting our website. So I think the strength is in attracting those who seem to be a great fit and sort of detracting those who are perhaps not a great fit. And what I mean by that is we can tell through visitor behavior who's really engaged with the website and who's maybe there just to get a download or a resource because they need an answer to a question. And that's all good. We're happy to keep building the website and providing value for that purpose, just to be a good online citizen, right? But I think that for us, the best use and value of the website is when we see someone take multiple steps through the buyer's journey before they ever reach out to speak to us. We know that when that happens, that we're probably talking to one of our better fit potential clients by the time they get on the phone with us.
Yep. That is super interesting. On the flip side, where do you see room for improvement when you think about the website?
I'm always going to say conversion. I'm always critical of our website conversion, which again is a runaway freight chain. So while traffic is growing, your conversion numbers will dip, especially when you're reaching parts of the world that are not typically going to be reaching out to do business with you. So that's always the issue for us. We just came off of our annual retreat. And that was the topic of that. That's one of our OKRs this year. It's one of the key results we're trying to improve, which is how can we become more relevant to more visitors? So.
Gotcha. And is there sort of a program in place, or what is sort of, what's the next thing you're going to be trying to increase the conversions?
Well, so we always look at content relevance. We look at sort of where is our website. It's always interesting. We talk about SEO and content marketing, and at the end of the day, we don't control it, right? It's Google, right? Google, Yahoo, maybe Bing, or Google, Bing, and maybe Yahoo, should I say? It's interesting to just we're big on the psychology of the buyer's journey and understanding what buyer's intent might be. Yeah. And of course, when I started, the average, I can't remember the exact stats, but it was rare for someone to type in more than 3 or 4 words in a search query. And today, upwards of 40%, 35, 40% of the queries are 4 words or longer, which means people are asking really, just deep questions. Your listeners and our behavior probably are the same. So it's constantly refining. Is it more content or quality content? And of course, Google can sometimes take one piece of content and rank it for thousands of phrases. So for us, it's about relevance to the end goal for us, which is to acquire a customer, but at the same time, be helpful. That's at the end of the day. We want to be helpful.
Makes sense. If we're talking about YokelLocal, right? What would you say is sort of a main competitive advantage, right? Coming back to the services that you guys are providing.
Great question, and we every year we do our annual review, and so we're doing this interview at a good time because this is really fresh on my mind. I think we offer four things to the market, and it's easy for someone to take an online course today, and next thing you know, they're an internet marketing consultant, or even go through the array of HubSpot's certification programs, and then all of a sudden tip the hat and start working on behalf of a client. And there are some cases where that makes great sense. But there's a difference between education and knowing the vernacular and producing the results. So the first thing I would say is our process. Number one, we have a strategic process. We're an agile marketing agency, and we have built our own, as you mentioned, 6-step flywheel, if you will. And then underneath it, we have a 4-step, should I say, engineering framework, if I could use that phrase. And so that is the first thing. The second thing is people. We really work to hire and continue to educate and provide a pathway of ongoing knowledge to our people, meaning we really are hiring what we like to think are subject matter experts who are then hungry to continue to become better. And I think this is going to sound crazy, but we care. We just don't take clients on for the sake of another retainer agreement or revenue. We have revenue goals. We have targets, but we're really looking for the right fit of the entrepreneur. And so we'll turn away far more people than we actually take on. And it's not because they don't need help. It's either because they're at a stage where we're going to cause a problem for their business because they're going to take on far too many leads, or, there's just a good, healthy understanding of who we're a good fit for and who we're not a great fit for. And of course, a lot of companies are saying, yeah, I'm ready to grow. And they don't really know what that exactly means. So those are a few things that I think we bring to the table.
Super interesting. I would love to switch gears a little bit and learn about you personally a little bit. As a leader in the company, what's the type of content that you consume in order to sort of educate yourself further?
I believe that I believe in a philosophy I learned back in college. Actually, Edward M. Deming, who I believe first started talking about it here in the United States, who was an engineer who ended up going over to Japan and worked in the Toyota Motor Company over there with. And so the concept is constant and never-ending improvement, or Kaizen, in the Japanese culture. And so I've been a student of ongoing learning, and we hire that way. We expect our team to operate in that way. And so what I do is, of course, I've been a student of psychology, sales, marketing, leadership. So I consume quite a bit of podcasts from really big thought leaders. I enjoy being a part of masterminds and coaching. I've been getting coached, though I'm a leader. I've been getting coached and had various coaches now since 1997. Yesterday, I spent all day in a mastermind. So all day, I've been in a mastermind group. I've been in one for about 7 years. So I'm constantly working to surround myself with people who think at a level that's outside of where I'm currently thinking, or even at the same level in a different industry, who's encountered a problem that either I'm going through now or I might be going through in the future, and they are saving me time, money, and resources if I ever encounter that. And then, of course, I'm able to add like value across the channel that I've seen in my leadership journey. So I'm constantly looking. It's 30 to 40 minutes, maybe an hour a day for me, every single day.
The Kaizen concept is, I think, a great way to describe that. Since we're slowly coming to an end of the interview already, I would love to jump into our rapid fire questions. Are you ready for those?
Let's do it.
What's the last book that you read?
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm reading The Practice now, and I'm reading Flow by, I'll butcher his name, but anyway, those are the 2 books I'm reading right now.
Very good. What's the one single thing that your company is focused on the most at the moment?
Accelerating the results that we get for our clients. We're always at a point where if we can develop that results curve faster, we feel like that'll continue to allow us a competitive edge in the market.
If there would be no boundaries in technology, what would be the one thing that you would want to have fixed for the company?
If there was no technology boundaries, one thing I would like to fix in the company. Wow, that's a great question. I'd like to do away with landing pages. I think landing pages are stupid. I think they cause friction. I wish there was a better way to continue to do inbound. I just don't like landing pages. I think it just creates a barrier to the end goal and end destination. And I think today consumers are smart enough to know there's a marketing pitch on the other side. Let's just be adults, and I'd like to find another way.
Makes sense. And the very last question would be, if today would be your very first day, right? You're starting to work on YokelLocal. What would be the one advice that you would give yourself?
Oh my gosh. So as a business owner, I would tell you that if we started the company again today, and I said this on Twitter a couple weeks ago, I would not over service clients believing that over delivery of service is going to gain extra trust or brownie points in them staying with us longer or referring us to more customers. To any business owner listening to this right now, you must protect your gross margins. And that was a mistake we made, trying to be a little bit of a savior in the middle of a recession. And we were trying to save too many businesses at the sake of our P&L. And that was a huge mistake for us.
That's a very tangible and very practical insight. Thanks for that, Darrell. So I really want to appreciate that you joined us for the Pathway Presents podcast today. I want to give you the very last word. If somebody would forget everything that we learned about YokelLocal today, what would be the one thing that they should remember about the company?
I think the number one thing about the company is that tactics before strategy is the noise before defeat. And it comes from the book, The Art of War. Be careful when you are looking for resources as it relates to digital growth and the person is only giving you a tactical game plan. Be mindful of their past performance, their past experience, and check to see if they're willing to put their skin in the game. On the performance, which is how we work with our clients. We give them a pathway where we're on the hook for. It's not just an exchange of dollars for us to hopefully produce the result. In many cases, we're on the hook, and if we don't perform, we don't get paid.
Very good, Darrell. Really appreciate it. You were part of Pathway Presents today.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you having me.